what is happening with Affinity and how it finds an audience for your videos. Or in the case of point, obviously I can only say an example of being one. What's happening? I find increasingly that YouTube cannot work out where to show my videos. Certainly initially. And I've done this video before, but I want to quickly again go over this because it's maybe something you're having, same problem. Maybe you've got, in this case, it's Affinity. It could be anything. You could be working, say, doing Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel. But what you've done in the past, you've done like thousands of videos on Microsoft Excel, but then you've lost interest in it. And then you've gone for Microsoft Word. Or perhaps some other subject, whatever it is. There's going to be some subject. You've changed course. And maybe that's a bad mistake because the way that YouTube works with this niching down, you might have still on your channel thousands of videos on the old subject. Now, you're not going to get rid of them because people still watch them. They're still good videos. Sadly, there's no YouTube feature where you can select them and say, you know what, put these in another new channel. That's all it would need. YouTube could solve this problem near enough overnight by a simple move to another channel feature. I mean, maybe it's not that simple. Maybe the way they've constructed it, maybe the way they group everything makes it hard to do that. So they could, by simply going through all my videos, anything that's not Affinity, and it could be again Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel or whatever, PowerPoint, say, you could then group them and then transfer them over to a new channel. And then you could continue, and maybe an existing channel as well. You might have an existing channel. In the case of, for me, Photoshop, I have a Photoshop channel. I could put them all, and that information associated with them, that they're all about Photoshop, and the audience they received, the retention, etc., all the data would equally be passed over. So that new channel would get a little bit of a boost because it's suddenly got all these new videos, but they've got the old data. And then they would again, hopefully over time, build up on that other channel. Because at the moment, they're not really building up. But I don't want to delete them. They're good videos. Why would I delete them? I mean, people do, there is a sort of attitude that maybe you should just delete them. I don't know. I'm not certain that's good advice or not. I don't think it is. But anyway, everyone will argue on that. I mean, it's quite possible. But let's just go and show you case in point. I'm just going to go this. Now, this has better than some, but not many. So I'm just going to click here. This is obviously channel content. So I'm just going to go channel content and just click in here. And then analytics. For some weird reason, the coming out of this here or here does seem to struggle. Doesn't always work exactly right, but still, maybe it's just the way I'm doing it. And you go to reach. Maybe I just go up here. That's what I should do. Anyway, by the by, you can see you've got the impressions. That's fine. It's not doing very well. It's just doing average, not doing a brilliant job, but still, how viewers find the thing. Now, browse, obviously it's had a bit of interest there. I mean, it pops up on people's browse. Suggested videos, 14.8. I mean, that's not bad. It is appearing. But is it appearing helpfully in the right places in the suggested videos? Because let's go down here and there's this, which I find very useful. Content suggesting this video. And you can see from the first one, Microsoft's worst nightmare. Now, a video about Affinity creating symbols probably will have absolutely zero interest for anyone with that. Putin armed men in Moscow. He can't stop. What? What? Why is that appearing? Every image format explained in 8 minutes. Well, that's so random. It could be something about something, but who knows? Better colour edits, Affinity. That's the first time it's got it sort of right. However, it's not right because Affinity Photo is not the same as Affinity. Anyone who's got Affinity Photo probably will not look at a video on Affinity. Affinity Photo is not the same. It's Affinity 2, Affinity Photo 2. Now, how to hide design lines and guides in Affinity, and I'm just going to assume that's Designer. Infinity, that might be right. So that one is probably the most likely, possibly one, but even so, probably not. It's about symbols, probably not going to. But let's see more. You got this, and then you can see the thing here, and obviously this is just weird. I never understand this. This impressions bit. It's got here 0, all 0. What does that mean? Whereas the figure here is 377. Doesn't make sense. But clearly that data is not being updated correctly. So you go through this list. Now, one or two of these, this one is mine. So I'm only showing the suggested. So straight away, they are limiting the views. They are putting a damper on the views because they're not going to give it to a new audience in any particular way. Now, obviously, you want some of them to be existing ones. They're regular viewers. You want them to come back, watch yours. But so you'd expect some to be that. Not all of them, though. They're Affinity again. So we got this first one. Microsoft Word, rubbish. Putin up, rubbish. Gemini, rubbish. They're not rubbish. They're not rubbish videos. They're not anything to do with the subject. Boolean tool in Blender, again, not really. That may be, possibly, Affinity, possibly. No. Maybe, possibly, recolor in Affinity. Maybe. That's about the closest bet. And something about here, some music sheet. That is it. So the number of videos that have shown my video are that's that lot. Absolutely useless, frankly. So let's just go back. So we go back. Now, weirdly, when you go into here, you lose the position. So let's just go back. This is one annoying feature. You go up here and you get this. I don't know what happens here. This is just rubbish. All these video analytics, it seems that when you click on it, it does mean it makes it very hard to keep going back. So I'm just going to select this one. Hopefully that puts me back to the contents. Right. So let's just go down to something. And I'm just going to go now to views. Let's just click on views. And you can see here it's Photoshop. It's not Affinity. That's what I mean. Would I delete that one? Why should I? No, I'm not going to delete it. And therefore it stays on there, which may confuse the algorithm. I don't know. It's quite possible. In fact, I often see this one popping up. This one pops up quite a few times. It doesn't make any sense why it's still, it's still a great video, but it's just odd. However, let's just click on it. I'm just going to click in there and again go to analytics. So now analytics, come on, analytics, and go to reach. You can see estimated revenue. Revenue also has been quite low of late. Everyone complains about that all the time. I think that's going to be the nature of the beast now. I think revenue is going to be low, probably high for some people. Some people, if it's AI slop, it'll probably do very well. AI slop seems to do very well. I watch a lot of that as well, so I'm not going to criticise people for that. It's where the money is. Okay. Well, if you go down, typical, content suggestions, see more, it's not going to show me any useful. Now, that's for the last 28 days. So can I let's go for, obviously, a bit more useful time. Since last 365 days, I think I've tried this before. If I do it for lifetime, it struggles. But now, it still gets it slightly wrong. But you can see within this list of traffic sources where it's suggestion, Affinity. Not useful, but still fine. There's going to be some overlap, but not much. That's what I think confuses. Affinity and Photoshop, people will be probably using both. Some people will, but not many. But there you got this one, Photoshop, rectangle. I assume that sort of shape, maybe, rectangle shape, arrondi, shape colour, rectangles, unfilled circles, circle shape. Now this is a great selection of things to look at if you want to get some perhaps hints and tips for new subjects. Though, of course, a lot of these subjects have been covered ages ago. But it doesn't mean anything, actually. I do think that sometimes I get lots of requests for videos, to do a new video, and it doesn't matter if it's a long time ago, because obviously people want it for the current version. It might change a bit. And that's another thing I think Photoshop, YouTube has a problem with. It doesn't understand often that Photoshop CS 2020, CC 2026 is different from Photoshop CS1, CS2, CS3, all those sort of things. It's only when people go to them and say, I've had people say, you know what, it doesn't make sense because it's 15 years ago. Yeah, I created it 15 years ago. It's very odd. Crop circles in Photoshop. So you can see, as another one of my ones again. Again, that's not surprising, I guess. How to do Photoshop, another Photoshop layers. That's sensible, shape, patterns. That looks like one of mine, though without any ID there, I don't know. Again, shapes, ellipses, Claude AI, that's another one of mine. Rectangles in Photoshop. And you can see that grading, again, it's illustrated, not so exact, but still, Photoshop and Photoshop. The ones that become successful over time clearly are being shown to people who are interested in that subject. If your video is being suggested in sections where they're not interested, your video could be the best video in the universe. You could have the best video in the universe and no one will watch it because YouTube is not showing it to the right people. Why I can't work it out? Used to be tags and title, and that was about it. The thumbnail needed to be good, or didn't even need to be as good, because most of the biggest viewed thumbnails sometimes had terrible thumbnails. I'm never convinced by the fact that the thumbnail needs to be amazing. It needs to tell the story. It needs to sort of think, well, you know, I'm going to click on that because I want to find out about that. But it doesn't matter if it's brilliant or okay. I've seen video, and likewise, people go, oh, if the retention's not good in the first 30 seconds. Something I've seen videos where they've got millions of views, and you watch it, and it's terrible. I mean, it's just truly terrible, and on Photoshop, and you think that's not even half related to the subject. It doesn't give any information, doesn't give anything useful. It just goes on, I don't know about what, inside Photoshop, but it's not actually solving the problem of Photoshop. And therefore, why does it get millions of views? So I don't believe that either. I think sometimes there's something happens with, and it registers. But it used to be sensible, where it used to be a title and tags. Title and tags and description. This is a video about Photoshop. This is a video about this. The tag says Photoshop. But what happened? They said, oh, well, people are obviously bombing the tags. They're bombing. So therefore, they had to then start looking inside the video to work out what it was about, instead of just trusting the thing. Unfortunately, that trust is long gone. It's a pity. And I think at one time it meant that people who were Photoshop viewers got Photoshop videos. Now, it goes in there, tries to work out what it is, and sometimes it doesn't, I don't think, work it out. It doesn't work it out at all. It's too clever for its own good sometimes. And I'm certain it's amazing. But I think sometimes it doesn't always get it right. And clearly for me, and also I think sometimes it's one of the baffling things, actually it's getting better than it used to be. One of my favourite things when I did a lot of these things, when you look at for affinity and affinity, it always would put infinity. Always got that wrong. But you had to always go and correct the actual subtitles, because it would always put infinity. Couldn't work it out. There's certain words that just, nope. Now, maybe if I was American, maybe it understands American English better than the British English, UK English, whatever. However, just want to show you this. Please put in the comments, does this match your feelings about your videos? Are you doing this? Are you putting videos out? And do you think that your videos are just not going anywhere anymore? Is it because of the reach and how YouTube is trying to work out? Is it having a problem there? So if you look in your reach, that's all you need to do. Look at the reach and let's just go back. Again, if I go up here, let's just click it again. Look at it. I haven't done much, but it doesn't matter. It's actually put all these other entries. I want to go back to here. There it is. This thing, the reach, a useful little tool. Hope you found this of interest and use. Bye.